Hey guys, and welcome to Little Black Bert 91. We are talking to you today, guys, about, well, I'm going to be talking about men. It's time to be accountable for the type of women you are choosing. Yes, I am sick and I'm tired of hearing manosphere men on internet complaining about the type of women out there. Sir, you need to be accountable for the type of woman you're choosing. And I say this because we say the very same thing to women. Okay, we tell women that they should stop dating Pookies and Ray Rays, stop dating the bad boys, stop dating men that are trash, and then you think that you can't have the same message to you, but then you want to sit there and complain about the women are this, the women are that. We need to be accountable. And what that means is we need to be able to have a conversation about the type of woman you're choosing and why you're choosing that type of female. Now, there are situations in life where relationships go wrong. There are situations in life where relationships just don't work out. There are situations where a woman has to grow or a man has to grow. And unfortunately, it was your relationship that they grew in. Okay? All right? It was your relationship that they had birth and pains in. And unfortunately, they didn't know any better. And now when they leave the relationship, they do better. All right? There are those situations as well, which we totally understand, right? So I get that, but we're talking today about being accountable for the choices that have been made. There was a video that sparked this conversation. I'm going to play it after I do my introduction. So if you're new to this channel, I want to let you know this is Little Black Book 91. We talk everything about relationships. We normally break down TV shows, break down body language and all that kind of stuff and that jazz for you. But today we're going to be talking about men need to be held accountable. If you're new to the channel, like it, share, subscribe, click on the bell button for notification of the uploads. And for those of you who are returnees, you already know what it is, baby. You got the minerals. Okay, so I'm going to put my title up so you guys can see. Men need to be held accountable for their choices. Okay, I'm going to discuss this video because I think listen, I understood the video. I did get it. I don't know if you've seen the gentleman before. He's making rounds on my internet. So, and this was shared by our lovely group chat. This was with another round, and Chef J and also his name's gone out of my head. So my names are gone out of my head. But we shared in our group chat basically, and this came up, and I listened to the message and I totally understood. The premise of what he was talking about, but I want to be able to break it down a little bit further. So let's get into the video. Let's play it, and then we'll discuss this video further.
Resources will leave you faster because they feel like they don't need you for anything. This is why I say a woman's income doesn't matter to men, because it's not about being beneficial to the man. Women's number one motivation and intention behind making their own money, doing their own shit, being independent, is to simply brag about being able to be an adult. The fact that men and women evolve to need each other and are interdependent goes way over their heads. Women want to convey this idea that they don't need a man for his money and resources, aside from child support and alimony when they're no longer together, or gifts for reassurance that he loves you, when they could afford those things on their own because they have their own money and resources. But without men, women wouldn't have the money and resources to have the money and resources. And this is why strong, independent women are so repulsive, as well as having the highest rates of unhappiness, stress, depression, and anxiety. You see, ladies, despite how much money and resources you have, you're still the weaker, more vulnerable sex with an innate desire to be provided for, protected, to want love, affection, and attention, which is why money and resources can never fill that void. Nature always wins. Women.
Now, this video sparks a conversation. Within our group chat, and my initial thoughts. Let me just scoop a little bit of my yogurt before we start this. What the heck? Let me get into a conversation. Now, this sparked a conversation within our group chat because, I actually understand what he was saying. There was a lot of truth in what he's saying, right? In terms of the fact that if we're talking about the dynamics, there are some women that when they get money, they become super independent and unfortunately don't have any need for a man and then complain about wanting a man. There is some truth to that. There is those women out there. But what I am starting to get annoyed about is these type of conversations, because what's happening is we're getting these manosphere, red pill type of conversations, and what happens is it begins to isolate and begins to target people and target a whole subsection of people without really understanding a strawberry, without really understanding the nuances behind things. I get what he was saying, right? In terms of the fact there are some women right there, but I've been talking to you guys about this when we spoke about this last year. Last year we spoke about this. When we start saying women, men, when we start saying that, you're talking about the whole entirety. And guess what happens? Whenever we say that, it alienates everybody. Language is key now. We're in a day and age now where language is so important because you want to get your message out there, right? Because what's happening is this whole message that he's brought about, I get it. That's not the only reason why women want to work. That's not the only reason why women want money. But again, this is, this is, and again, it paints this picture that these are what the women are. This is all that women are out there. Right, all the women are out there. Those who are working, getting a jobs, they seem to be the only ones who. These are the women that's their mindset. And I was starting to I was like, what woman is he encountering that this is what he's saying and seeing? Because what I have a problem with certain creators is that they vilify either men or they vilify women without there being a balance. There is no balance. It's only one-sided. So you get the men crucify women. You got the women on the other side crucifying men. You got swirlers on one side saying don't date black men at all. You got black men out here saying don't date anybody else but black men. And it's like there is no nuance and there is no middle ground. There's no gray. There is no in between. And it's like all it ends up being is a bashing session because there is no balance, right? So yeah, basically he's saying that women without money won't stay when they're unhappy because they can't survive on their own. You know what I mean? And that's not necessarily what it means. Again, and this is my thing here as well, right? This is what I'm saying. Men need to be held accountable. If you're meeting a woman, and the woman would leave you because she has resources and you have resources. And I put a nuance on this as well, that sometimes when someone has a great amount of resources, especially with a woman, there can be some ego on the man's side, there can be some ego on the woman's side. But a woman having resources and you having resources and she leaves you, just like that. Especially if you, and this is my problem, and this is my problem with this situation. I'm going to play another video. Okay, right? I'm gonna play another video that this gentleman speaks in. He talks about how women are emotionally invested when it comes to sex. So if we know that women are more emotionally invested when it comes to sex, they're more than likely going to be more emotionally invested when it comes to relationships. So why are they just leaving the relationship? It doesn't just happen, right? Based on his logic, I'm just going by his premise. If women become more emotionally invested in sex, more than likely going to be more invested in relationships. If that is the case, why would they just suddenly up and leave a relationship because they have resources? Deep it. And this is what I'm talking about when it comes to agendas and when people are bitter and hurt. So let's point number one this, okay? Point number one this, okay? I want to point number one this, okay, of my first topic, tackling my first topic for this particular subject, right? We're calling it You Choose What You Like, yeah? What you like. Man, them, let's talk to you. You choose what you like. I don't even like that. It's a bit too bold and too big for me, yeah? You choose what you like. This is what we're talking about right now, right? As a man, okay, as a man, you are tasked with choosing, okay? With choice comes power. With power comes responsibility. I need you to understand this if you're a man. Hear me very well. If you are a man, you have power to choose, therefore have responsibility. Right? You go forth and you go and get. Now, the woman also has a responsibility. She can say yes and she can say no. Yeah? She also has a responsibility. This is what I'm saying. It's dual. It should never be preached one way. It is dual. But since we're talking about men specifically, I'm addressing the men. When you are talking and you're saying about how these women have a certain mindset, why are you choosing this same type of woman? You choose what you like. You're not waiting for women to approach you. You're approaching women. You now have to take responsibility for your choice. Do you see what I'm saying here? Right? So as a man, due to the fact that we talk about masculine energy and we talk about feminine energy, the feminine is all in the receptive and the masculine is in the executing, the go forth and getting. So if you're going forth and getting and what you're getting is bad, that's your responsibility. The same way that I preach and say, oh, if a woman keeps dating bad boys, she's going to have to take accountability for the fact that you keep encountering bad boys, because you have power to say yes or no, I'm going to date you. Aside, obviously, if you're in a kidnapping situation, you know what I mean? But, do you see what I'm saying? So men can't jump out the boat and hold women accountable for the men that and quote unquote they call them Pookie and Ray Rays. But then when you are dating these so-called, I don't know what name we can give these ladies, but you dating them, you don't want to say accountability. Instead, you complain, and that is really what we say lacking accountability, when you begin to complain rather than looking at the actions that precede the result. And when you consistently complain about the result rather than looking at the input, this is how you become bitter, this is how you become angry, and this is how you get into a place where you begin to hate women. And same with women and women with men, right? Women as well sometimes say, I hate men, and it's the results that they're getting. Some of the men that you choose, and they're trash. And it's the same thing with men. You're choosing trash women. And there are trash women out there, sir. There are trash women out there. Okay, whatever her cause as to how she got there, however he got to there, makes no difference. The choice is yours. Therefore, no one else is accountable except you. Now, can relationships go bad? Yes, they can. I told you guys about my situation where I ended up in a relationship where I was pretty much being emotionally abused. Now, whether I was being abused or not, and no one deserves to be abused, but I had to take some responsibility. First and foremost, why was I there for so long? Then I started looking at myself and I started realizing, oh, I have traits that first and foremost actually deceive me and seduce me into trying to save this person. That's why I end up in this relationship. Because as soon as I heard the red flags, I should have run, but I didn't run. Because there was something innate in me that made me like the choice that I was choosing and ignore the red flags. You are responsible, sir. And that's all we're saying. If we hold the women, we're going to hold the men. Okay? So if you choose what you like, you don't complain now when you don't like it. You now look for solutions to change that so that you get a different result. Do you know what I'm saying? If you've been married once, you divorced once. If you get married a second time, you divorce twice. If you get married a third time, you're going to have to start looking at yourself and be like, why am I keep choosing these women? That's accountability. Looking back at the results, holding yourself to an account, looking at the accounts and saying we have a profit and a loss. Wow, I lost here. Why did I lose here? When we say a business looks at their accounts, what do we mean by that? A business that's accountable from a financial perspective will look at their accounts, look at the profit and loss, and ask themselves, guys, we need to account for these losses. Where did the money go? Why did the money go that way? And how can we spend this amount of money? If you're a manager in a business, you have to be accountable for the budget that you spent that year. You're going to have to relay that to your line manager above you. You know what I mean? You're accountable, and that's what it means. So if the result is bad, you look at if the result is bad, we don't look beyond the manager. We look at the manager and say, your team didn't perform. Why didn't they perform? Why did they not perform? Do you see what I'm saying? Why did they not perform? Okay? And when you sit down and you analyze the data and you realize, wow, this person didn't perform this way. This person did it. I get it now. I see it now. Our team didn't perform because this person was like this person was like this person, and I wasn't strong on this thing. I was light on this, or I did too much here. And that's how you become accountable. And the same practice has to be done in relationship dating. If you keep meeting these type of gal that leave you after you've got resource, that leave you because she got money, you got money. If she keeps leaving you because she have money and you have money, you're gonna have to take some responsibility. You know what I'm saying? Like, you know, why do these chicks keep leaving you? You know what I mean? Why do these chicks keep upping and leaving when you've got resources, she's got resources? Why do they keep upping and leaving? At this point, you're actually abusing yourself. And I'll tell you why you're abusing yourself. Because now you've seen a pattern of behavior and you're refusing to acknowledge that the pattern of behavior is yours. You're blaming someone else. You're deflecting. Okay, so number one we're talking about is you're choosing what you like. Therefore, you are responsible. You are choosing what you like. Therefore, you are responsible, sir. Okay, we're going to go into point number 2. All right, we're going to go to point number 2. Okay, and it's similar to point number 1. All right, point number 2. Okay, cool. Oh, that's not proper English, is it? Choosing bad means my English was all over the place there. All right, cool. Choosing bad means you must look within. Okay, choosing bad must mean you look within. Okay, what I mean by this is if you choose bad, if you have listen, we can all choose bad once. Maybe even twice, and you didn't really grasp the quantity of what you're saying, right? Or what you did, right? But if you have a pattern of, let me just say this. If you have a pattern of choosing bad women, you have to look at yourself. If you've got to a point where you say, I'm not dating women again, all women are trash, all women are bad. This is why I don't even take on when women are saying all men are trash. You know, it's nonsense. But when your experience, I get it. But if you keep saying all women are trash, all men are trash, what we're really saying is you don't have a good compass for choosing, which means you need to go and do some work. That's it. If you keep choosing bad, you must look within, and then you must begin to say, I need to go away and do some work, right? I say it all the time for the women. I said, go and sit on a bench and heal. Right? And that means you need to get out of the dating game. There is too many men on Red Pill Manosphere in the comment section typing away, doing videos on internet, big boy internet, and telling absolute nonsense on the internet because you have heart issues and because you have love issues. And because you are hurt, right? You need to go and deal with self. This lack of accountability that you're allowing yourself to get away with is cheating only you and the other person you're going to be with. Because you're only going to exasperate more pain. You must look within. The Bible says that we speak the words that are actually in our heart. You know, and the fact that within Christianity, when we talk about the gospel, the Bible lets us know that God is transforming your heart from stone into flesh. Why? Because he realizes the therapy that you need is within, not the outer shell. You don't need to look more buffer. You don't need to look, that can always help. Don't get twisted. But you don't need to look more buffer. You don't need to have more ass, more arms, or anything like that. You need to look within. There's a problem inside of you. Okay? There's a problem inside of you. You keep meeting these women that keep taking your money. You keep meeting gold diggers. That's a your issue. It's a you issue. Look, and I wish I did it. I've done the notes for it, but I haven't released the videos for it. I talked about someone said to me, because I said obviously, look, when I wanna arrive at a certain financial level, right? When I arrive at that level, then I can feel at peace when I'm choosing a partner. And someone said, well, when you get to the top, coach, you don't know who's for you and who's against you. And I said, yeah, that's a me problem if I can't see who's really for me. The whole point, the reason why people who are successful don't know who's a gold digger and who's not, it's because you're leading with gold digging tendencies. Listen, if you're a man, okay, and ladies, I'm sorry, I'm gonna put it out there. If you're a man and you're wanting to find out if this woman wants you for you, and you put on a date that costs £5,000, or you take her to Paris the first weekend, what do you want her to do? How are you gonna know if she really wants you for you? You're doing the most extra thing, you know. You're doing the most extra thing. You see, the focus of getting to know somebody is content. Not outer shell, it's content. It's not going to activities, it's content. The content of someone's heart speaks, it speaks when they speak. To know someone's character, to know how someone, to know how someone moves is to hear them speak. Right? And this is the problem. Someone said, make her sign a prenup. Yeah, you can make her sign a prenup if you want to do that. If that's what works for you, make her sign a prenup, right? These relationships that we're going into, the problem is, look, we had, do you remember the guys that Drake went on a date with, I hate to say, I don't like to say single mother, I hate to say that, but that's how they classed her on the internet as a single mother, right? And it's not really important. But he took her on a date. I think he took her to NBA. He took her to an NFL pitch, right? Hired out NFL pitch, and they sat there on this pitch and they had dinner. Well, guess what? If you start that big, how are you gonna know if she really wants you or she wants the NFL pitch? How would she know? How would you know? How would you know? You started off so big, and then you're complaining that she wants big. Well, what do you want to do about it? What do you want to do? Do you know what I'm saying? Right? You didn't start off on a theater. You didn't start off going by a theater or something like that. You didn't start by going something small. You didn't have a coffee. You started big. You advertised, I'm big. So if you advertise, I'm big, guess what? You're probably going to receive, I'm big gal who wants to take big from you. At that point, you must take responsibility and accountability. This is what we're saying. Nobody's saying anyone's perfect, by the way. You can still choose wrong, and it happens. So long as you're accountable, I'm rocking with you. As long as you're able to be introspective, I'm rocking with you. As long as you're able to look back at your past and say, hey, I made some mistakes here. My bad. You see, the reason why people get faked out by fake people is because you don't know what's real yet. You don't know what's real. When you get faked out by fake people, it's because you don't have a grasp on authenticity. Do you see? And you're seduced by the lie, right? Because when you know real, for instance, right? When you see people that are experts in, let's say, for instance, Nike merchandise, right? People who know, there are people that collect Nike shoes, like they have a lot, right? Now, unless this person is a narcissistic actor all the way down to their absolute core, and I mean they are just so good at acting. Most people aren't. Even if they're good at acting, they're not good at acting and lying. Because once you give them time and you know what you want, you kind of call them out. But so there's always an exception. There are people that get through the net. But let's keep it a buck now. When a man or a woman is a connoisseur of something, they know this thing inside out. When the fake is presented, they can see that's not it. Simply by the marks, simply by the height of the ball. One day I went to buy a Sean John perfume. Okay, I had bought one from, I think it was Boots some years back. Yeah, Sean John perfume. It was buff. I loved it. Very small, but I loved it. Powerful perfume. Smelled good. Okay, doesn't last long though, but it smelled good. And I bought it and I loved it. I wanted to buy a replacement. So as I was walking one day, I was walking in the market. Listen to what I just said. I was walking in the market, okay, not the shop. I was walking in the market. As I was walking in the market, somebody was selling a Sean John perfume. Okay? Now, the price was less than the perfume I would buy at the shop. And as soon as I saw that, I said, oh, you know what? This could be, I'm going to save myself a few pounds here. Right? Yeah? Yeah? And so as soon as I bought it, first and foremost, the first thing before I bought it, I lied to myself, okay? Because as soon as I saw the box, I knew this is not the original box. I've had a Sean John perfume before. I know what the real one looks like. I know how the packaging is. It's a very specific packaging as well. I know what it looks like. It doesn't have that packaging. But man's telling me it fell off the back of a truck. So that's why it's cheaper than it actually is. That's the first mistake I've made. He told me it fell off the back of a truck and I can see the packaging is different. At this point, if it smells bad and it looks bad, it probably is bad. Right? That is me now. You see, there are signs that are coming my way, but I'm choosing to ignore it because I want to go and get it. Right? I'm seducing myself due to the fact that I could save a few pounds. Okay? So now I can see the box is not correct. I can see the packaging inside is not correct. When I pull out the bottle isn't even the original bottle. Sean John again has a very specific small kind of, it's like a rhombus squarish type of bottle, black. This bottle was long, and he was telling me, well, it fell off the back of a truck, but we had to repackage it because obviously you don't want to catch up. Whatever they said, excuse, right? Some bullcrap excuse he told me, and I believed him. Why did I believe him? Because I was more invested in getting a cut load price, seducing myself with lies. And therefore, I did not I recognized what was fake. I knew it was fake. But because I had a desire that's within myself, it's innate that I was trying to get a cutthroat price, I ignored the red flags. That's accountability now. Because when I review the situation, I must take account. I must take account. I cannot sit on the internet, come out and be saying, guys, I just got frauded by the market man and he gave me the wrong Sean John. No, I can do that, right? And I'll bet you I'll have a whole heap of other men or women saying the exact same thing, saying, yeah, I got frauded too, But you knew before you bought it, Kojo, there were red flags with this particular packaging, this particular inside packaging. You knew it was off, right? You knew it was off. Right? I investigated and still I decided, let me go and buy it. Now, before I even bought the product, before I even saw it, I'm in the market. I'm in the wrong place. Context. And since the context of the environment was wrong, what I should have done is been even more careful of my examination and actually deeped it and actually said, no, be cautious about how you're moving. Instead, I was gung-ho, just go with it. Let's just go with it. Let's just go. Let's just run with it. Context is important to how you move next. If me now, being a YouTuber, gets to 1 million, I'm going to know my context is now different because every situation I'm in now, yes, someone might be coming to me and they might want my coins. But guess what I'm going to have to do? And this is the thing that frustrates me. Right? The problem, and you see, let me go back to the example I just gave. The reason why I got conned for the Sean John perfume, okay, is because I was looking for a cut price, right? The reason why a lot of men cry and say women are trying to steal their money and they end up with gold diggers is because you're looking for a cut price woman. You're looking for a woman that wants your money, that's impressed by your money. Therefore, when she goes for your money, why are you complaining? You got exactly what you wanted. You went for a cost price woman. You failed to do your due diligence. You failed to get to know her. And oftentimes these things that people don't talk, this is the part that people don't talk about. You probably were having sex early on too. Let's keep it a buck. Right? This is not every situation. This is not every situation. There are exceptions to every situation. There are exceptions to every situation. People can change in relationships, but what I'm talking about is that most times there is something wrong from the very beginning. You know it's wrong. You know it's wrong, right? So when you are somebody of status, of power, and of wealth, you don't think it's a good investment to get to know the person first? Know the content of their heart? Not get gassed because she got a bubble butt? Not get gassed because she talks sweet? Not get gassed because she's sexy? Do you not think it's a good investment to get to know her? The problem is you're cutting corners because you are getting excited by what you're also seeing, and you've gone for the cost cut price. You went for the cost cut price. You refuse to do the work in getting to know this person. And that happens when you don't, and you know what? That happens when you yourself, within yourself, haven't done the work. Right? And then what happens, a lot of us, including myself, are taught by experience. Right? A lot of us are taught by experience. We're taught by learning on the job. We've gone through bad relationship after bad relationship or good relationship, whatever, and we've learned from it, and now we're living by that experience and living by that wisdom, right? But these things don't get spoken about, so we find ourselves in difficult situations, right? If I'm now a man of renown, I'm a man that has power, wealth, this and that, the Bible lets us know that kings are brought down by women. And that's in Proverbs, which is always talking about wisdom. Wisdom says, let me invest in time. Let me invest in the shares called time with this person. Because best believe this, if you're going to lay with her, and I'm not advocating for this, but if you're going to lay with her, you're laying with her to get out. You're not laying with her to marry her. You're not laying with her to impregnate her. Right? So if you start laying with her, trying to marry her, and then you complain later on that she take all your money, of course, you lied to yourself. You deceived yourself. You have seduced yourself. Okay? You've lied to yourself. So so men, we have to take accountability. And going back to my original point number 2, which was you must look within. The question is, why aren't you patient enough to want to find out who this girl is? It speaks to an empty void in you. Some people want a trophy gal. Some men have never had gal, so they get excited by buffness. Some guys, you know what it is? They are using this girl as a I never had buff girls when I was younger, and I have to show everybody that I've got a buff girl now. You know what I'm saying? And it's a problem because it's from within. 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 And if you within yourself don't realize this, right, you will never take accountability. If you don't realize that because of what was in me, I chose this type of person. Let me tell you a story. Something that God told me, man, which is so funny. This is years ago, right? And I remember I was praying, and I said, God, you know what? I want a girl with back. You know I like Nayash. You guys know I like Nash, right? You guys know I like Nayash. I said, God, I want to go with Nayash. A little bit of compound milk too, you know what I mean? A little bit of breast. I don't mind that as well. But Nayash needs to be there, Lord. Do you know what I'm saying? Okay, I want thighs, Nayash. I like that kind of stuff, Lord. You know what I'm saying? Bring that to me. You know what I'm saying? I like them kind of things there. You feel me? Cool. So now I heard the Spirit talking to me. He said, but can you handle that? I said, what do you mean? Of course I can handle the Nayash. I can handle the Nayash. If you don't know what Nayash means bum. Nayash means ass. Okay? Right? I said, Lord, you know what? Lord, I want Nayash in my woman of God. Nayash. You understand? And the Holy Spirit said to me, but are you sure you can handle that? Because there are other things that come with that you may not be aware of. I said, no, don't worry. I said, Lord, don't worry about it. I can handle it all, man. I can handle it all. Right? So, and by the way, it doesn't mean people who have got Nyash have got problems. That's not what I'm saying at all, guys. I'm saying about my desire. Okay? When the Holy Spirit was talking to me in that moment, saying, can you handle it? Are you sure? Because this could send you somewhere. Okay? All right? Let me tell you, listen, your brother out here was in the fornication aisle. Fully! But that's the least important thing I'm talking about here. What was important was that I started to realize after I got into that relationship, there was flag after flag after flag, and I ignored it all because of Nyash. And when I deeped it, yeah, why I ignored the red flags, it wasn't just because of the Nyash. It's because my balls are burning. And I hadn't dealt with self. Listen, don't get twisted. You know what? Desiring a woman is never going to go away. We always will have a desire for a woman. But there's an over desire where it comes from an emptiness within yourself. There's a void that you're trying to fill. I wanted the sexual energy. I wanted it. I needed it. And I craved it. Okay? And it took me to a place where I had to desire a woman that had this sexy Nyash. And that made me ignore the red flags before I got into a relationship. Right? Now, is it the Nyash that got me into trouble, or was it my own desire? It's the desire. You see, the Bible talks about this in James 1, right? It talks about this in James 1, where it talks about the fact that let me get it up. I don't want to misquote. I like that scripture. When I learned this, yeah, this is what I'm talking about accountability, because even the Bible preaches accountability, right? The Bible preaches accountability. It might not say accountability, but it preaches accountability. Okay, let me just go to this. I want to get ESV version, right? If you're not a Christian here, don't worry. This is still good food for you. It's still good food for you. You're going to enjoy this. You know what I'm saying? All right, cool. James 1. Yes, cool. Love this. Okay, so I'm going to show you this, right? And show you about accountability. Okay, all right? That even the Bible loves accountability. Even God tells you about being accountable. Okay, all right. Too many people want to blame the gal. Too many people want to blame the devil. Well, this is what the Bible says about the situation. Let me bring this to your attention. Okay, all right. Let's bring it to your attention. Right. This is James 1. Okay, verse 12. I want you to understand this. James 1, verse 12. Okay, James 1. Verse 12 says, blessed is the man who remains steadfast under trial, for when he has stood the test, he will receive the crown of life, which God has promised to those who love him. Let no one say when he is tempted, I'm being tempted by God, for God cannot be tempted with evil, and he himself tempts no one. But each person, let's rewind that again. Each person, okay, is tempted when he is lured and enticed by what? The woman? The man? The devil? By who? By his own desire. That's accountability. The person who says that, oh, it's the woman's fault, it's the man's fault, has lost accountability for the choices that they themselves are making, because it's a problem from within. So when God was telling me, coach, are you sure you can handle this? What he was actually saying, it's not the Nyash that's the issue. The issue is, where is this desire coming from? There's nothing wrong with wanting Nyash in your woman. There's nothing wrong with wanting breasts for your woman. There's nothing wrong with wanting curves in your woman. But where does that come from? And is that where the extent of your desire ends? Is that all your desire is? Are you just wanting to get your leg up and then you've covered it up by saying I want a relationship? Do you just want sex but you keep saying, oh, I want a relationship? Right? It comes from his own desires. So when you're tempted, when you're feeling horny, When you're feeling like you need to steal, when you're feeling like you need to do something bad, it's not coming from anywhere else but you. Don't blame your TV. Don't blame the person down the street. Listen, there are factors that definitely play that encourage a behavior. We're not disputing that, right? But each man is accountable for his own actions due to the fact that this comes from within. You have a desire within you. Okay? Let me just finish it off. Then desire, when it has conceived, gives birth to sin. And sin, when it's fully grown, brings forth death. What that means is, when you're conceiving the thought, the desire is a thought. You conceived it in your heart, and then it became actionable. This is why I said go and sit on a bench and heal. Go sit on a bench and heal. Go sit on a bench and heal. Because where you are right now, you are operating from within outwardly. And if within is not healed, you're going to be out there. You're going to be out there. You're going to be out there. Okay? And we're talking about relationships. And we're talking about dating. And we're talking about going out with people and stuff like that and enjoying the people there. You know, it's essential that each person takes accountability for their actions. Someone said, did I see Naeem? I can't talk for Naeem, okay? I can't talk for Naeem in these straits. So we need to be accountable, okay? Which is what leads to part 3 of my message today. I want to make sure I'm going to stay on an hour max. I shouldn't really go any more than an hour, to be honest. I want to go to my part 3, okay? Part 3, all right? Part 3 is... Yes. What part did you play? Okay. Right. Man them, let's keep it a butt now. If we keep meeting these type of girls that are stealing your money, that only want you for your resources, only want you for the D, only want you because they're going to want you to be their father of their kids, but don't really want you. Listen, it is time to say, what part did I play in my past relationships where it hasn't been successful? And now when I'm going to my new relationship, I will make sure I make changes. One has to look back and review the tape. Do you know sportsmen? Do you know why people are top of their profession? They watch their tape back and someone will say, did you analyze it? What did you see? They will ask you, why were you in this position at this point in time? The person will say, hey, it's because of that. No, why were you in a position? You know you're meant to be in that position. Because of that. No, but you were meant to be there though. And because you weren't there, X, Y, and Z happened. Right? So in the same manner, when you leave a relationship, you must sit down and review the tape and look at what part did you play. There is no relationship that anybody's perfect in, right? I mean, unless you were there for like a week, whatever. But if you're in a long-term relationship, there's no way that you didn't play a part in this, right? You may have maybe done less than a person, but there's a part you have to play in it. You must fix those mistakes. You must replay the tape, right? And this is what I'm saying to that a lot of us men will complain about women, but we're not reviewing the tape. Okay, so one woman gold digged you. Okay, right? Why are you letting the second one gold dig you? You know what I'm saying? Like, what did you do wrong the first time? What did you do wrong the first time? And you see, if you can't answer that question, but you out here on the YouTube comment section typing women are this, women are that, women are this, women are that, I'm looking at you like, what are you doing? What are you doing? Why are you not being held accountable for your mistakes? The woman you chose was a mad one. Okay, let's make sure we don't choose a mad one again. How do we do that? Looking within and replaying the tape. Do you know what I mean? Like, there's too many men out here crying about, and that's why I played that video in the beginning. I wanted people to see why I wasn't even triggered. I was just interested by the fact that they had this conversation, and I was like, you know, women who are doing these things, they're not, the women are doing these things, they're not the one for you, but you spot them because you learn how to perceive what is content, right? If you sit through just a few of my videos, you're going to know what kind of content I produce. You know what I mean? If you sit on someone's YouTube, you just need to watch a few of their videos, you're going to know what content they put out. Has everybody here watched every video of Kevin Samuels? But most of us know who Kevin Samuels is and what kind of content he produces, right? Because his content speaks for itself. As a person, you must replay the tape, okay, and go back over it and go, hey, this is not it. I didn't make the right choice, right? And that's what we do by going back and replaying the tape, okay? That's number 3. Number 4, all right? So I'm going to keep this on hour, and I better do that, okay? Okay, number 4. Number 4. Okay. Sooner, very soon. Number 4, blaming women doesn't solve the issue. Blaming women doesn't solve your issue. We talk about why crying is oftentimes not the most beneficial action for a man. I said this on the Zachary Live when we had Zachary Married at First Sight. Excessive crying is not beneficial for a man because he must spend time executing, reviewing, being accountable, and being able to go to the next step. You cannot do that with tears in your eyes. You cannot do that when you're heavily sedated by tears. Okay? You cannot do that. So for us as men, all right, we need to spend time not nagging and complaining, but spend more time in being able to look at self and say, what have I done wrong and how do I change that? Blaming women doesn't solve your issue. You still got to solve the issue. Removing women from the equation and saying, I'm going to go, men go their own way, okay, which is a group for men on Red Pill, men go their own way, doesn't solve your issue because you're still in this world. Okay? It doesn't solve your issue. All right? It doesn't solve your issue. Crying about it doesn't solve your issue. Sitting on YouTube for 4 hours complaining about women every single week doesn't solve your issue. Tearing women down doesn't solve your issue. Cussing women out doesn't solve your issue. Making every woman responsible for your past mistakes doesn't solve your issue. All these things do is delay the inevitable. You are responsible. Right? You know what I'm saying? And I love this. Yeah, exactly. And this is a funny thing. People are monetizing your pain and making money off your pain, and you're still sitting there. And you're out here giving. Listen, I've sat on Red Pill. I've watched Red Pill lives before. These guys give the most money. That's when I knew these men are tapped. When you sit on some of these, and there's the women's side too, on both, and this is crazy, on both extremes, but for both men and women, where they complain a lot about the other side, the people in that particular segment give the most money. And I'll tell you why. It's just like church. The reason why people give so much money to church is because they're looking for a shortcut to get results. If I give God more money, God will give me more favor. No. How about being obedient? How about obeying the laws of God? When I say the laws of God, not that you become a law person, but you start to understand, as our sister said in a previous live, spiritual principles. How about that? But instead, they give their money in droves. I'm talking about, listen, some of these red pill and pink pill women on the men's side, femininity, masculinity, whatever they're on their sides, respectively, They give 50, 100, 250, $200. I'm talking big boy money, you know. And many of them give it like it's church. And I realized, wow, they're looking for the shortcut. They've got their profit now. Profit. They're doing what they're doing. Touch not my anointed. If you know about Christianity, touch not my anointed. Do my prophets no harm. The same energy they do at church, they've brought it to YouTube and made people like Kevin Samuels and other female ones out there, they've made them their prophet. And guess what happens? Instead of solving their actual issue, they throw money at them. Yeah, tear that woman down. She's a 5. She's a 4. Yeah. She wants a 6-figure man. Who is she? And it doesn't solve your issue. You are still in the same place. You are still in the same place. Right? You are still in the same place. You are still sitting there and you are still burning. You are still in pain. But you've got your money together and thrown it at your prophet. Right? That's your profit now. By the way, I'm not complaining. Please, I'm not asking for, I don't want anyone to miss what I'm saying. I'm not asking for your donations. That's not what I'm asking for. I want to make it very clear. I'm talking about the behavior, right? The behavior of these people, I've noticed on both sides, it's just like being at a really bad church, right? It's like being at one of these churches that focus on money or focus on prosperity or focus on blessings or focus on anything but Jesus. They do the exact same thing. They preach with itchy ears. They tell you the things they want you to. They tell you the things that they know that you want to hear. They validate your pain. So the men, as men, sorry, the sound went out there, yeah. So as men, we've got to really look at what we're doing here. We've got to really look at the fact that we are in the situation. Why are we in this situation? And the same way you can't buy the favor of God is the same way you can't buy a woman or a man. But since we're talking about men, you can't buy the woman, because look what happens when you do. There's a fruit to your labor. If you buy the woman, guess what? You get a gold digger. You go and buy, go and buy the favor of God. You're going to guess what you're going to get? You're going to get empty blessings, empty, unfulfilled promises of somebody. The same principles. Same principles. Okay? So what I'm discussing here, I want the men to understand, blaming women will not solve your issue. Look, when I got cheated on, man, the day I got cheated on, bro, my heart was broken, bro. This girl twisted me up and down. I mean, she really twisted me up and down. But that whole situation, before it even got to that point, when I reviewed the tape, I made some mistakes. I, first of all, ignored all the red flags. But secondly, I gave this person room to move mad by saying, let's go on a particular break. That's not really a break. What the frick? What are you saying, coach? What are you saying? What are you doing? You're in or you're out? What are we doing here? You're either in or you're out. I was making mistakes. And guess what? Your first result will be to blame the other person, but you must look within. That's not every situation. But if you get cheated in every relationship, you might have to start looking at yourself, bro. Exactly. Exactly. This is the thing that people don't realize. They will blame other people and say, but they did it. But you won't realize the part that you played in this. So blaming the woman will not solve your issues. It won't change my circumstance. I must review the tape, look back on it and say, there are things I need to change. There's things I need to change. The things I need to change. My final point. Okay? My final point. Let's move to number 5. Whew. Boy, I feel like I feel like I'm preaching today, but I'm just trying to talk about relationships. Number 5, masculine energy. Masculine energy. I want to talk about this. Living in your masculinity. Man, them. We talked about looking within. And looking within then helps you to analyze what you see outwardly. If you know what you need, you discard of people that you don't want. Which is why I gave the example by saying, when I wanted to get to a certain financial level, it doesn't mean I'm going to get done dirty by a woman. Because I know exactly what I need from that woman. There are certain characteristics that regardless of whether she is fine or beautiful, if you don't have those characteristics, I won't deal with you. It doesn't matter how fine you are. If you don't have those characteristics, I won't deal with you. Because I know what I need. So when so the money isn't the issue. The issue is you don't know what you need, and therefore when you're dating, oftentimes you end up getting things that you don't want, right? Same way with Adam in the Bible, right? You're going to come across a lot of different animals, and yet none of them are the helpmate. Okay. Anyway, let's deal this point. Masculine energy. Masculine energy. By the way, again, I want to make this very, very clear. We make mistakes. My issue isn't the mistake. My issue is, what is your response to the mistake? Do you take accountability or do you blame the other person? That's my issue. My issue isn't that you made a mistake. My issue isn't that we make mistakes. My issue is you don't be responsible for those mistakes. When you start blaming other people, that's where I have an issue. I don't have a problem with people making mistakes. We are all going to make them. And you may get divorced. It may not work out. You may be with someone for a long time. It doesn't work out. Those are fine. But you must review the tape and be accountable for your actions. That is what we're talking about. Now, number 5, masculine energy. Dealing with the masculine as a man. You want a woman to submit. You want a woman to be delicate. You want a woman to be soft. You want a woman to be loving and caring. Yes, finances are a part of it. Don't get it twisted. But that's not the main thing. It's part of it, though. But it's not the main thing. The main thing is, number 1, can you keep that person emotionally safe? This is the protective piece. Can you keep them emotionally and physically safe? Do you exude that type of energy? And by the way, we're going to hold... I think it's probably at the end of the month. We're going to be holding our dating conversation called. I think it might be next week. Actually, sorry. We're going to be holding a conversation called "Do you feel safe in dating?" We kind of discussed it a little bit last week on Ready to Love panel, but I wanted to have a more vaster conversation around feeling safe in a relationship, because I was asking the ladies what makes them feel safe when a man is approaching or when a man's in a relationship with them, and I ask the men the exact same thing. As a man, you want to keep this woman emotionally and physically safe. And there's a financial safety too, that you're not reckless with money. Yeah? All right? That doesn't necessarily mean you earn the most, but you're not reckless. I now have to also concede, by the sounds of it, it sounds like my boy Gil out here is messing up the table. I'm going to say it again. It sounds like Gil from Married at First Sight was messing up the table just by what I listened to at Murder's side of things. And the receipt that she gave, a brother was paying. Brother, where did the money go? You cannot be financially irresponsible. Sir, come on. Come on. Now, I didn't believe everything Merla said about, what she said in that particular live and that particular interview she did. But this part, she had a receipt for it. Where did your money go, Gil? You cannot be financially irresponsible. That is not good leadership and not good stewardship. The least that you should do is delegate the financial delegate the financial responsibility to the other party who seems to be more financially astute. That's the least you should do, right? If you're not really good at it, you should be delegating that to your partner. Say, hey, babe, listen, I'm not good at this area. Take control. I'll let you delegate it. That's fine. Still good leadership. You're delegating the rollout. But you should financially, physically, spiritually, emotionally, sexually be protecting your partner at all costs as a man. Let me break down what that means. I already spoke about financial, right? That financial literacy, if you're not great at it, delegate it. Number 2, being emotionally safe. That means when she's able to communicate her emotions to you without you wilding out, without it becoming a crazy Crash Bandicoot session, without it becoming a WWF, WCW, WWE session. Yeah? She's able to talk about her inner feelings without you hitting, striking, shouting, screaming, without any physical harm coming to that person emotionally too, and any abusive behavior. She's able to feel safe to communicate those feelings to you. Right? That's emotional safety. That's emotional safety. That's a protection piece. Then there's physical safety. Right? Can't be a little pussy out here. Let me say it straight for you. Sorry for my language, but let me say it again. Can't be a little pussy out here. All right? Smart man might have to be smart. Listen, what I mean by this is, right? And I'm not saying get into fights. That's not what I'm saying. Okay? Don't be getting into fights and getting knocked out. All right? What I'm saying is little things. My friend said to me something really interesting, and it was really funny, because I didn't realize I was doing it. She was like, we're walking down the street, and she says, do you notice that whenever we walk down the street, when I'm next to the road, you switch sides so that I'm now inside? And I was like, I didn't even know. What? Do I do that? She's like, yeah, whenever I'm walking on the road, when I'm walking on the pavement, if I'm on the outside closest to the cars on the street, you go the other side of me. I was like, oh, I didn't even realize. I just, because what happens is when you're first born, yeah, oftentimes I had to walk my siblings always somewhere, right? You do not let your siblings walk on the outside of you. They have to walk on the inside of you, because if they run into the street, you're done out here. You're done. You're finished. You understand? Right? If you're inside of me, I can keep a closer eye on you. You know what I'm saying? So it's a natural tendency to just do that because I'm firstborn, and that's what I've always done. So that's a natural protective piece I'm talking about. Being able to protect the partner physically. It's little things like that. Right? Let me give you an example. Let me give you an example of what I'm talking about here. You're maybe at your do you know what was happening? Maybe not. Let me just say it anyway. I would say it without details. So there was a situation that happened when I was in Ghana, and we were in a club, right? We were in a club, and as we were leaving the club or the bar, whatever you want to call it, we was leaving the bar, right? I grabbed the girl's hand and I pulled her along. So come on, let's go, right? I just started clearing people out the way. Boom, boom. Listen, usually I get a little bit angst. I get a little bit anxiety trying to move through people. I'm a bit more passive when I'm moving through people, right? I don't like to, I'm sorry, my bad, did it? I'm very polite in that way. But I was like, I'm with somebody, and I need to make sure to get through and safe. I just started squishing, shoot. I started moving people out of the way and pulling her along. And the reason why I did that is because I wanted to make sure that she was safe. No one's asking you to fight. No one's asking you to get into fights. Okay, with the Big Show and John Cena. Nobody's asking you to get into wrestling mode. That's not necessarily what we're talking about. But if you can do that too, fantastic. But we're talking about little things like this where you are showing protection for the other person. Right? What's his name? I forgot his name now. The comedian. He would say, "Don't be no punk. Don't be a punk out here. I ain't no punk. I don't have no punk out here." You know what I'm saying? Like, don't be a punk, right? Protect your woman, right? Because that is the command you've been given. That is responsibility you've been given as a man. You've been given that. The Bible says there's no greater love than for Christ to lay his life down for his friends. The Bible lets us know that you as a man, also Bernie Mac, thank you, the late Bernie Mac, you're supposed to, in the same way, regulate the same way Christ does. So if Christ was laying his life down to protect us, you and I should be ready to die. I shouldn't see on a video that when things are kicking off, you dash your girl out of the way. Like, what? No. You know what I mean? You know what I'm saying? So, you got to just be able to, you got to be able. It's true. Before you know it, you picked her up and then you've got a case against you, legal. But you got to be able to. You got to be able to help your. You got to be able to protect your partner, and that is when you protect your partner. It's about the fact that you put them physically first. You understand that everything. They're going to be behind you. What I mean by that is you're going to make sure that if anything happens, you are willing to sacrifice yourself. If you, and I said this on my Instagram, if that person wouldn't willingly die for you, it's not love. If that person wouldn't die for you, it's not love. They don't love you. They like you. They don't love you. Yeah. If they're not willing to die for you, they don't love you. They like you. I'll say it again for you. If they wouldn't die for you, they still like you. It's okay, but they don't love you. They don't love you. They don't. They like you. Because love should bring you to a point, especially as a man, that you're ready to sacrifice yourself. This is why I don't call everybody a friend, though. This is why I can't call everybody a friend. Because I'm not willing to die for a lot of people. There's only a few I'm willing to die for. For some of these people, I wouldn't even look. They're shooting you. I'll just be like, well, it ain't my business. You know what I'm saying? Like, so as a man, the protection piece is so important physically. Let's talk sexually. By the way, guys, we've got a live coming up in the 1st of March. We're going to be having a sexologist for an hour and a half talking sex. Yeah, so get ready for that. But, you should be able, okay, as a man, okay, to sexually protect your woman. What does it mean? It means not treating your woman like a porn star, because some of you are treating them like porn stars. It means not treating your woman like a rubber doll. It means that when you're in sex, it's not just about you having sex, it's about we connecting. Right? It's about we connecting. Right? When you speak to the mandem out there, and the ladies, you know this as well, so you know what I'm talking about, right? Some mandem, they don't hear nothing when they're in sex. They don't hear nothing. You're hitting the cervix wall. The girl was saying, listen, it's too deep. Can you release? And the guy's like, nah, it's all about me. This is not sexually protecting your partner. You've put that girl in pain. Honestly, you've put that girl in pain, bro. You've not listened to what she said. The girl said, listen, you're on my cervix. Can you release? And you're here saying, nah. Why? This is not sexually protecting your partner. Okay? Your women are not porn stars. They are your partner. They are not rubber dolls. They are your partner. So start treating them as such. Start treating them as such. You feel me? Start treating them as such. Right? There's a question that's come up here. Sorry, I didn't see it. Is it here? Let me see it. Gojo, is the expectation from women to ride or die realistic? You ride or die to a contextual degree. Do you understand what I'm saying? And you ride or die for the right people. In life, we do ride or die. Let's keep it a buck. You have friends, yeah? You know this. You have friends. Somebody does something wrong. Listen, you can hold your friend accountable, but you're still going to ride with them. Now, as long as they don't do something absolutely mad. Yeah, you know what I'm saying? Like, that is literally that you can't defend. But you will ride with that person. You will die with that person. You know what I mean? Because it's your friend. When you've got a true established friendship with a partner, right? If you have true love, it's ride or die to a degree. Okay, if he's out here skinning on other women, and you don't need to ride or die for people that are not good. Why are we riding or dying for people that are not that are not loving you? That's not the reason why. You know what I'm saying? Like I'm ride or die energy. I'm saying in the sense of I don't really agree with ride or die by Ski. By the way, anyway, I don't ride or die. It's not my kind of thing. But what I'm saying in the sense of you should be ready. You should be ready, especially as a man, that your love, your wife, your children, you should be ready to stand in the gap and die for them because you love them. This is what it means to be, especially what it means to be as a man. You know what I'm saying? If I can't, and nobody's saying that you're not gonna have fear in that moment, but if you can't look at that point where you go, I look at my wife and go, I would die for you. We got problems. We got problems. This is not the right. We got problems. Because love comes with sacrifice. Do you see what I'm saying? The love comes with sacrifice. There are things we give up in order to pursue this love. And there's a physical sacrifice sometimes that may have to happen. You know? But no one's asking you to ride or die, and when he goes to jail, you go, no, that's not what we're asking for. You know what I'm saying? That's not what we're asking for. No. We don't ride or die for people that are messing up your life. We're talking about people that, that love you, that care for you, that have shown you this affection, have been loyal, have been consistent. These are people, when you ride or die for them, it's okay. Because these people show up. The problem is people ride and die for people who don't show consistency, who abuse them, who lie to them, who who just do anything to them. And it's like, you're riding and die for this person. Why? No. We want to be able to ride or die for those who have shown consistently that they would also love you, care for you, appreciate you, and be consistent. You know what I'm saying? Yeah. So my final point, my final point in this situation, is that as men, we want to make sure that, your masculine energy is in the art of, of protection. We talk about spiritually too, being able to protect that person's faith and belief, as you should really be in the same faith. I'm just gonna be honest with you. Listen, and it always happens as well. Like, it don't matter whether you're Christian, Muslim, atheist, whenever two people that have different opposing views come together of faith, have you noticed that children always feel confused? And the child is going through a time where I'm not really sure which side I should choose. It's long, right? It's long. So listen, like, protect yourself by choosing somebody who believes in the same things you believe. You choose that, right? So protection piece, financially, physically, spiritually, emotionally, sexually. Please protect your woman as a man, right? If that's your woman that you say is your woman, protect her. You know what I'm saying? Provide, serve. And that's another conversation one over there about serving. So, I want to talk about the men. It's time to be accountable. We'll be having our live back next week, Tuesday. We'll have our conversation. I think it's going to be titled, Do You Feel Safe in Dating? So something like feeling safe. Talking about feeling safe in relationships. So we're going to talk a little bit more about that. We'll have more men and more women. It won't just be me this time. We'll have a panel on, and we'll have a good conversation. I'll put out a flyer as well. So if you guys want to join the conversation, if you believe you can add to this conversation, then we would love to hear your perspective and your voice. But until then, next week, we'll be back on Thursday night. We'll be discussing Married at First Sight. And then on Saturday night, we'll be Ready to Love, the new season. Sunday night, we're also going to have a special live because we're having a debrief. The last season of Ready to Love has been so much. We need a debrief. Okay? So on Sunday night, we'll be debriefing from Ready to Love DC and helping ourselves to Wusa. Okay? So I appreciate you guys. Stay locked, stay loaded. Please share this with the men in your life, ladies. That's all I'm asking you to do. Share it with the men in your life, the kids in your life, the sons in your life, the uncles, the cousins, share it with them. Yeah? Share it with them. They need to know. Okay? And you're the access point. So I appreciate you guys. We appreciate you guys. Stay locked and stay loaded. We'll see you again.